Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Worlds Apart, Words Together, where best friends share laughter, stories, and an unbreakable bond. I'm here today with my co host, Leah. Hello. I want to start off by stating a little fact to introduce our topic. And the fact is, did you know that around 60% of people feel a lot more stressed during the holiday season than any other time of the year? Does that surprise you? It doesn't surprise me either. And let's talk about why that happens and what you can do to lower that stress during the holiday season.
Yeah, so throughout this episode, we just want to encourage our listeners to reflect on their priorities and feel empowered to shape their holiday season and their holiday days authentically and stay true to themselves and not feel that pressure of holiday expectations from a variety
Yeah.
of areas.
Yeah, because oftentimes the holiday season with Christmas, well, I think in the United States, it like starts with Thanksgiving. You
Yeah.
first have Thanksgiving, and then a couple weeks later, you have Christmas. And this season is often portrayed as something magical and a time filled with joy, togetherness, and generosity. However, beneath this, there is kind of this complexity of expectations that can weigh heavily on some individuals.
Yeah, so we're going to go through about 4 to 5 different kind of unseen or maybe you guys recognize them yourselves, but like 4 different areas of where you feel those holiday pressures. And so the first one we really want to point out is you do get these direct and indirect societal pressures, starting with media driven idealization of the holidays. You have commercials and movies and social media that depict an idealized version of the holidays with perfectly decorated homes and an extravagant feast and families coming together and happy families. And this portrayal can create some feelings of inadequacy with your personal reality, with your traditions, with your current circumstance, because it doesn't measure up to that like fantasy, idealistic version of the holidays.
Yeah, I mean, my whole TikTok and Instagram right now are filled with just people and their cutesy decorated homes and all of their stuff that they brought out and, family traditions. And then when you see that, it's like, oh my God, I want that. But it oftentimes doesn't exceed that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's not so much from the social media because I kind of just like brush it off. But I am someone who loves a good Hallmark type movie in the holidays. If you know me,
Yeah,
it is to know that I love a good, just happy ending story, no matter what the time of year is. But obviously, there is this like tradition of watching Hallmark type movies in the winter and or around Christmas and holiday.
yeah.
And I love that because I can turn off my brain. I don't have to worry about my current whatever going on in my life. And I know it's always going to end in a happy ending, and that's going to make me happy. But I do go through these phases where like I almost overdo it, or there's something that's going on in my life, and I'm like, I can't watch the happy ending because it's not true, or it makes me sad, and
Yeah.
I can feel myself getting sad because I want that happy ending or I want that idealistic version of that holiday for
Life.
whatever reason. It just spoke to
Yeah.
me, and then I get sad because I don't have it, and it's this ever ending cycle. So then I veto Hallmark type movies
Yeah.
for a couple days, and then I'm like, okay, I'm back and I'm ready.
Yeah, so that happens. And that is kind of the expectation you then set on your own holiday season, knowing it's not going to be like a Hallmark movie with the perfect Christmas or the perfect snow during Christmas and all of that. Like that just doesn't really happen often. However, not only is that media driven idealization part of the holidays, but you also have consumerism and materialism. And what this means is that giving gifts is also part of the holidays. And sometimes you could overdo that. You mentioned last time that you like giving gifts and that you rather spend like a lot of money on a perfect gift and a lot of like small gifts. And that is a trap that we can put ourselves into, especially if we already don't have that much money to, you know, live off. It could become a financial strain to have to buy those gifts for people because people expect them.
Yeah, I do think it is difficult, especially with today's mentality around gift giving. It's like you ask someone what they want, and a lot of times it's expensive things because it's, people think of holidays as being the biggest gift or the most expensive gift because, whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I have a story about this. So I was at the library, not about me personally, but I
Okay.
witnessed this conversation take place. So I was sitting in the library doing my work, and a middle schooler, so he probably could not be, he was probably 13, this kid
Okay.
was there with, like, I guess it appeared to be like a tutor. And so I guess they were wrapping up whatever after school thing I had going on, and they were talking about Christmas. And this kid said he had a list, a Christmas a Christmas gift list, wish list that totaled over $5,000. He wanted a new desktop computer for his video games, which alone was over like 3 grand. And then he had all these other things, and he wanted these certain particular clothes, and he said that was going to total up to over $250 worth of clothes. And he kept going on and on and on, and I was like, you're 13.
But that is definitely something that today, like, I cannot remember having those types of wishes for Christmas ever.
I mean, I'm not gonna say like I never had big like wish items, because a lot of times, like my race suit, like our racing like
Yeah.
arenas, which cost upwards of $600 to $800, would be our Christmas present. But
Yeah.
we knew that if we needed a new suit that year, it was going to be a Christmas present because my parents didn't have the money to buy it just willy nilly.
Yeah. No.
And I would say my parents were very good at giving us generous amounts of gifts. There was never a time where it was like, but a lot of times we knew that our gifts were something that we were going to either A, need for our extracurriculars,
Yeah.
or like that would take first priority, and then it would be like some surprise.
Yeah.
So
But like, that's an,
I'm sorry, I'm probably going to be very contradictory, but if I had, to what some people believe, but if I had a 13-year-old son who needs a tutor, asking for a $3,000 plus gaming system, that's not including his extra couple $1,000 of games he also requested, I would be like, no, go outside.
yeah.
Do you know what a stick looks like? Create it. There you go.
Michael and I decided not to give each other Christmas gifts this year. And the reason for that is we bought each other a advent calendar that was about $50, which we already were like, that's kind of expensive. But we bought each other an advent calendar. I gave Michael an espresso one, so he got a new coffee
Oh,
flavor every
nice.
day. Yeah, it's very cute. He got me this Harry Potter Lego one where you get a new piece of Lego every day, and then at the
Mm,
end, when you have all the pieces, you can play a little game with it. So pretty cool. But we also decided to save up for a camera. So we're like, we want this camera, we want to buy it. Why would we spend more money on some ridiculous gift that we
yeah,
might not even need? Instead, we can just put some money towards that camera instead.
yeah. I
And
mean,
that camera was not even $1,000. Come
yeah.
on.
I mean, I think that's a good way to go for it, especially for couples. I mean, especially if you are beginning your career and maybe money is a
Yeah.
strain, just to talk to your significant other and figure out what present or what thing you guys want, and then kind of get it together. I think that's a
Yeah.
great way alternative instead of spending money on presents. I don't know what Hunter and I are going to be doing. I do like to give presents. This year will be, I'm trying to figure out how to do it this year because we are financially not as lucrative due to the move.
Yeah.
But I think I'm the gift giver in our family. Hunter will wait till Christmas Eve and decide to go out an hour before the store is closing to
I could
find something.
never. I could never.
I'm not like that. I'm very particular and I am take
Yeah.
pride in whatever gift I give. It doesn't have to be fancy, but I like it to be
Yeah.
thoughtful. So this
Fair
year,
enough.
because of money issues, not money issues, but like because of the move, financial
Yeah. You're
restraints,
just a bit tighter,
yeah,
which,
I think we're gonna do like family presents. So like we'll do like a together present for his parents. We'll do a
yeah.
family present for his brother's family. We'll do some cards, probably with not much in it, unless it's like something really simple for like his aunts and uncles at our family gathering that we go to every Christmas for that his dad's side,
Yeah.
just because we don't have that capability to give each individual gifts like we did last year.
Yeah. And so you're still thoughtful into giving someone something, but you're also taking into account your current financial situation. And I think that is very good, especially because nowadays, as with your story, you kind of have this the bigger the better culture,
I
which,
still cannot get that conversation out of my head.
dude, I kid you not. My sister's boyfriend got this like $600 Lego car for his birthday from his family.
Well, I mean,
That dude turned 28.
yeah, but it might be something he's into. I don't know.
He's
It's
very much
not.
into that, but it's like we gave him a bunch of chocolate from the Lindt factory store. Factory store. It's like that idea of, well, it's your birthday, so you need to have this very big, expensive gift. I don't always
Yeah,
agree with it.
I think it has more to do with what you as the giver can give and how thoughtful it is. So like if his family is capable of giving him a gift and he is into that and he loves those kind of things, that's great. But at the same time, like if you and Michael can't afford something like that and he likes the chocolates and they're nice chocolates and that's all you can give, that
Yeah.
I don't think we should be equating as one gift better than the other, because at the end
No,
of the day, if they're both thoughtful, they should both be appreciated.
it is the thought that counts oftentimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's just gift giving is something, yeah, that people can have their opinions on, I think. And I do think if we were also in a better financial spot where we have this tons of money, that we would get him something nicer for his birthday. But I guess we'll save that for his 30th birthday.
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean some of the smaller gifts I've ever gotten, I have found, and probably dollar sign have been cheaper. I found to be more, just as much, if not more, or I value just as much, if not more, because of that, like that person just thought of me and they saw this thing and
Yeah,
it reminded them of me and that's why they got it, or a reason why they got it and gifted it to me. And like honestly, that should at the end of the day really be what gift giving is about, is
I agree.
just expressing, hey, a gift should be not from a list necessarily. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. In
Yeah,
my mind, it's like I saw this and it reminded me of you and I could see you using it or appreciating it, and this is why I'm gifting it to you.
that should be the thought behind it, but oftentimes that thought is kind of lost somewhere, I think.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, if you can take a 12 or 13-year-old kid and give them 5 to 7 grand worth of presents, I mean,
Must be nice.
I don't really have any words. I think there's a lot of things that need to be read into that situation, but I mean, we're
Yeah,
not going to go there.
we'll move on. We'll move on from
Um,
this.
Now that we have covered kind of some two major societal pressures, another big thing is family expectations. And this
Yes.
comes in many, many forms and many, many ways. And one is the expectation of traditions, and families hold onto traditions that may not resonate with everyone in the family or may not resonate with the current family situation or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. And then there is the added either direct or implied pressure to attend certain gatherings or all gatherings, and that obligation to show up.
Yeah.
For example, I made a decision at Thanksgiving to travel to Chicago to see Hunter, spend time with Hunter and his family because I'd not seen Hunter in like 2 months. And I am traveling to St. Louis to spend time with him over my 10-day break for Christmas. And we will be spending a total of 4 days up in Chicago with his parents and extended family.
Yeah.
And normally, my mom's side of the family has a family reunion in the Cincinnati ish area the weekend after Christmas every year. I've been going because when I lived in St. Louis, it was only like a 4 hour drive. And so I've been going. But this year I was like, there's no like originally I was like, we could probably swing it, but then Hunter's grandmother was coming down on that same weekend, so we decided to take 2 of our 4 days and go up there to see her.
Yeah.
We're like, well, Hunter's going to be moving out with me.
Yeah.
She's older. I mean, she's healthy, but she's still older.
Yeah. You
And,
never know.
you know, I've seen and he has seen my mom's side of the family because of the weddings. So, it's like maybe we should spend this time with his grandmother. And so
Yeah.
that was a decision that we made. Is there still indirect pressure for me to be like, oh, we really should try to make this work? Yeah, I still haven't told them that I'm not coming because I don't want to get those like, oh, be so sad that we miss you and that you can't make it. Like, like it's going to be like, oh, like it's okay that you can't come, but there's an implication of like, how can you not come?
Yeah. Like you should be here.
So that is something that is real. Like I experienced it with my family. Do what's right for you. If you cannot afford something, if you want to spend more time with a certain person or a certain family member or a certain friend, then another group for whatever reason, it's your choice, it's your
Yeah.
holiday. And if you just want to stay at home, I have this ideal fantasy that once Hunter and I have a place, then one day we'll spend Christmas without traveling because I want to create our own traditions.
Yeah.
And that's okay too, to just be at home by yourself, with your
Yeah.
family, with your significant other, whatever it might be. That's okay too.
And then to give a good example about the first example you gave, like the families have traditions that may not resonate. We had the tradition that we would do gifts on Christmas Eve. But this year, everyone in our family is still kind of working during Christmas Eve. So I don't get off work until 5, some people a little bit earlier. But then we have to drive to my parents' house, which is an hour and a half. So by the time we're there, it's probably going to be 8, like 7, 8 o'clock. And I'm like, I don't want to rush and do the gifts just because it's something that we always did.
Yeah.
And when I said that, like, well, why don't we do the gifts on Christmas morning on a chill like pace? My sister was like, oh, but we've always done them Christmas Eve. I'm like, yes, I understand, but the situation is a little bit different this year. So she had a tough time like being okay with moving that tradition.
Yeah, I think it's interesting the whole like tradition thing because like we obviously had traditions growing up, but I think traditions change as you get older. So like you and your sister, you both have jobs, you're out of the house. Like
Yeah,
now you have to make adult traditions.
yeah, exactly.
Like there is some things obviously like if you make a certain kind of cookie during this time or if you do like whatever, like obviously you're going to still have some of those traditions that stay the same, but like the timing of traditions or maybe you just make a whole new kind of adult version of a tradition because that is the area in life that you currently are.
Yeah, or the ones that, like you said, just fit the time better and fit your schedule better. And the traditions don't always have to be the same every year. Like whatever suits you in that time, do whatever suits you. So I think we kind of have to move on because I notice we can talk a lot about all the topics, and it's good. It's good that we can talk about it, but we have more to talk about. So there are also some, I'd say, emotional pressures that come with the holidays. There is kind of this unspoken rule that you should be and should feel cheerful and happy during the holidays, regardless of your circumstances. Like it should be a joyful moment to spend with family and friends, and you cannot ruin it with your mood. This can be difficult, especially if you just went through something in your life that either gives you grief or you just have some struggles personally or financially. And this could make you feel guilty for not being in the spirit, or you're kind of forcing yourself to maybe look happier and be happier than you really are just to make others happy. I think that's kind of a pitfall we can trap ourselves into.
I think it's true. Honestly, I can't remember a single holiday where I was not crying at one aspect for one reason or another. Genuinely cannot. That's due to a lot of things. Like a lot of things to break down in that statement. But needless to say, we won't break that all down now and analyze my life. But it is okay to feel overwhelmed, to feel drained, to feel like your social battery is fully exhausted, to not feel happy go lucky, festive, cheery, joyful
Yeah,
24/7 during this time. It's not realistic. A lot of people are still working, a lot of people are going through good
just
days and bad
life.
days still. It's life. So I think enjoy the time, especially because this is a time where people do get together with friends or their spouses or whatever and family to enjoy those times with them. But understand that your emotional spectrum does not disappear just because it's this time of year.
No, like Christmas doesn't just take that and pull it out of you. Like it's still going to be there. If you experience stress for work or if you've lost someone recently, like it's okay to not be the cheeriest of all during this time.
Yeah, for sure. And this comes another kind of thing around this topic is the feeling of nostalgia and just like the comparison feeling, which we've done a lot of like comparison talk before, but comparing your current holiday situation or day that you're currently having to a memory of past, because memories can fail us. Your memory might not be 100%, so you're comparing your current situation to kind of like a falsified memory, perhaps, if it's super super good, but also just understanding that there will be more holidays coming. This isn't the one and only shot that you get, hopefully,
We
and
hope.
that each holiday comes with a unique kind of encompassment of that year that's happened or whatever, and so each holiday is going to be unique. And I think
Yeah,
that's also kind of important to like hold on to and be like, this holiday was special because of X, Y, and Z.
yeah,
And it may not be the same reason that it was special last year or the year before or 10 years
yeah.
ago or 10 years from now. So I think that's just perspective wise, it's important to kind of frame it that way.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point there because, we oftentimes want to recreate a situation or a environment because it gives us such good memories, and then when we try to recreate that, it doesn't give us that same feeling. It's because those situations cannot be recreated. It's because of what led up to it and how the situation was then that made it feel so special. So definitely try to hold on to that this year too. I keep sliding down my chair.
Yeah,
I keep
and
moving
so we
out of
want to
the screen.
also talk about our kind of like last thing, and that's social expectations. So
Yeah.
special expectations, there's normally a lot of them in this time of year. You have variety of invitations to numerous things such as holiday parties, work events, social gatherings, whether with friends or family or combination, that can quickly overwhelm you. And I forgot what I was going to say, but anyway,
You're right. It can overwhelm you.
it overwhelmed me to the point that I don't even know what I was saying now. So that's fun.
Yeah.
But needless to say, these invitations, they're not requirements. It's okay to say no to some. Um, and just know that it's okay to say no, and you're not necessarily letting anyone down, or people are going to think differently or they shouldn't think differently of you, because you don't want to overcommit yourself. For example, we had a department holiday party that was supposed to happen today, actually at this time. And we got an email yesterday saying, actually, we can't do it tomorrow for whatever unforeseen circumstance. We have to move it to Friday. Well, my exam is on Friday, but the exam is open all week. It's like one of those like week long like
Yeah.
things. Well, I'm not gonna take it earlier in the week when I have more time to study for it, and I can take it Friday
No.
morning. So I was like, well, I'm taking this exam. I'm not changing when I'm taking this exam. I planned my whole week to have this exam Friday morning.
Yeah.
I'm going to have this exam Friday morning. So when I re RSVP'd, being like, yeah, my name's on this list, and then I'm like, but I may be late
Yeah. Fair
because it's
enough.
a 3 hour exam.
Yeah.
And so if I started at 9, when I had planned to start it, it won't be done till 12, and the party's supposed to start at 12. So I was like, this is not a me situation because I'm not the one that changed it. I was good to start it. I rearranged my week to have it today. It was great timing for today, for my life. But now it's on Friday. I don't have that obligation to go.
Yeah.
You
And now you
know,
get to do this podcast with me.
I get to do the podcast with you, and I can take my exam, or I am going to take my exam when
Yeah.
it was originally scheduled in my planner for this week. And that's just, me setting my boundaries so I'm not
Yeah.
overcommitted.
What I think also a lot of the stress around, and this is kind of a jump to a different topic out of nowhere, but the stress where does stress come from during the holiday season is feeling that pressure of hosting the perfect celebration, hosting the perfect party, having the best meals,
I
making
don't
everything
feel
look good.
any pressure of hosting.
No, I know, but I think if you are hosting, that you feel that pressure of like, okay, but there's so many people coming. I need to do this. We need to do this. We need to make sure that this, like, there's just a lot of pressure you put onto yourself.
Well, I think not just if you're hosting, but keeping up appearances and making sure that you attend every little group that you're part of and their festivity.
Yeah.
Just like showing up
Luckily, I'm
and
not a part of
participating.
any groups, so that is
Yeah.
nice.
We had our lab. I don't think it was like necessarily like a Christmas thing or holiday thing, but we like had our end of semester like dinner or end of year dinner last night, which was nice, and it was
It
planned
sounds
ahead of
fun.
time, so it was fine. But yeah, like every little part, potentially any kind of group you're part of, any kind of work thing you're part of, any kind of extracurricular thing that you're part of may have these celebrations or these get-togethers or these festivities. Doesn't mean you have to attend all of them
No.
or for the entire time.
Yeah. And this leads us straight into what we want to talk about next, and that is recognizing in yourself whatever you want. We would like you to consider four things. One, what genuinely makes you happy during the holidays? Think about it. Is it spending time with family? Okay, spend some time with family. Is it being one day with family, one day by yourself? Do whatever suits you. And are there any activities or traditions that you try so hard to put in place, but it might not be fitting within your life anymore? Maybe let them go. And then also, I want to ask you two questions. And I want to ask this to you too, Leah. So think about it and we'll get back to it at some point. If you could design your ideal holiday season, what would it look like? Would it look like what you're going to do this year? Or what is it going to be? And which holiday activities feel like obligations and which ones are ones that you truly enjoy? So, those two latter questions I want you to think about and maybe leave your answer in the comments to let us know. So, I'll repeat them. If you could design your ideal holiday season, what would it look like? And which holiday activities feel like obligations and which ones do you truly enjoy? There you go. Two questions to think about.
Do you want me to
I don't need
answer
to,
them?
not right now, no.
I was like, okay.
Because it will probably take some
No,
thinking of like, okay, then if you want, you can answer them.
no, it's okay. We can do another one later about these
Yeah,
questions.
that's fine. We will do a little short recap.
Maybe yeah, maybe next week, next recording closer to Christmas, we can discuss these questions, and that will be a good podcast.
Sounds good.
But lastly, not really lastly,
I mean,
going
kind
in
of.
tune with recognizing what you want, find your holiday experience to more align with what you want. And some practical tips for doing this is to one, communicate boundaries and expectations to yourself, your family, and your friends. Two, embrace smaller, more meaningful celebrations that just feel more right, that gives you more happiness and more joy. Three,
Mm,
opt for experiences over material gifts to reduce financial strain.
there you go.
And four, learn to say no gracefully or not to
Or not.
events or obligations that don't align with your priorities and your current life situation.
Yeah. And as well as those practical tips, we would also like to give you some ideas for different ways you can be celebrating because you don't have to follow those societal rules of how the Christmas is spent. You can volunteer or give back to the community. Let's say you have a Christmas market that your town is holding. Like maybe they need some help, or at Lindenwood we used to always put down the little bags with sand for the candle walk at night, and
Who they make do that for free labor?
I don't know. Like at the time, it was a hassle to do it. But if you enjoy doing volunteer work, that might be something you can participate in because the community will look at it and they will love it. And then think about: do you want to spend time alone, or do you want to spend time with family or other people that you choose to spend time with? Like it doesn't have to be family. And then also creating new traditions that resonate with your current values and your environment because whatever is your situation now might not be your situation next year. So just do stuff that you enjoy, that make you happy, and don't put too much pressure on it all.
Yeah, exactly. And as we kind of round up this episode, we want to remind you that your happiness and your state of mind does matter.
Yeah,
It's okay to step away from all the shoulds and create a holiday that feels right for you.
yeah.
And then we just want you to take some time, as Marit kind of brought up earlier, to really sit and think and resonate and reflect with your experiences, with your current situation, on what truly makes you happy during this time of year and these holidays, these upcoming holidays, and what traditions or activities could you let go of or start to bring that cheer into your life?
And it could be anything. So whatever makes you happy as a person doesn't have to make somebody else happy.
Exactly. You and your closest people. So, with that, we want to kind of wrap up and thank you for listening to this podcast. And as always, we want to hear about your experiences and your traditions. And with that, thank you for joining us as we offer you a glimpse into the world of true friendship, where even though worlds may seem apart, the connection remains strong.
Thank you, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.